from the stick, so you might can relate. Took on everything I faced.
What's going on, Black and Gold VIPs, also known as the 333 Club? I've been involved with it since just about its inception, I guess. And I also did a passion project on the side years ago before having a kid that I really enjoyed. It helped me learn more about the Sun Belt and upcoming opponents. And I really love listening to Alex and Big C every week on the podcast. I'd like to kind of team up with them if possible. I reached out and asked them if I could run, essentially an internship and see if this is something that they like and want to continue with. So here goes the first official, unofficial episode, however we want to call it. Down to business. It's finally game week. ECU is finally here, right around the corner. I myself will be lucky enough to be down there in Charlotte. Really looking forward to taking in a live game for the first time in, over a year. And, it's time for the revenge tour. It's a pretty good season when you can say that you lost 3 games and it was a disappointment. All 3 games came against ranked opponents. So we know we didn't have any really bad losses last year, but these guys are going to be out for blood this season, and I can't wait to see what they do. So when you look back against the Pirates, our history, not a great record overall, although they've been at a higher ranking in football for a little bit longer than we have. They have won the last 6 straight games, with the last game coming back in 2012. They went 3-6 overall last year with a 3-5 record in the AAC. Obviously, there were some games that didn't happen, so that's why they have a strange number of games. They haven't also been to a bowl game since 2014. So this team has been down and out. They believe that they're turning it around. The third year for a new head coach is usually the one that starts to really gain some traction. They've got their players, they've got their system. So we'll see what that means for them. But last year, they barely reached the top 50 in any statistical offensive category. So that's not great, especially when they play in a conference as good as the AAC. Their defensive marks hovered all right around about 100, which is really bad. With their run defense not being very good, their passing defense was actually the best of those rankings that came all the way back in the 85th ranking spot. So we know where we can hit them. Obviously, we know where we're going to run the ball, but it seems like our passing defense could have a big day as well. So overall, what should we expect? Who should we expect to see? Who should we be looking out for? Let's break it down.
6'3", 228-pound Holton Ayers will be the starter at quarterback for the Pirates. He's got a big frame. He'll be able to run and certainly be able to throw, even though it's going to be a good App State pass defense. However, in the past, his line hasn't provided the best protection. He's certainly not the fastest dual threat that Apple faced this year by any means. The Mountaineers should be able to get to him early and often on Thursday night. Running back Rajah Harris is expected to be a first-team All-Conference performer this season. That's major praise while playing in the AAC. He's a big, bruising back who's not afraid to run up the gut, but also has plenty of speed to break long runs to the outside if allowed to get outside the tackles. Obviously, he's not afraid to go down the middle either, as we can see in some of these clips here. Backing him up is a player who's just as dangerous, and possibly even more so in certain situations. Another All-Conference nominee in Keaton Mitchell. He's smaller, shiftier, much more like a Nate Noel for App, for those of us that have seen him and his shiftiness in the past. He'll see plenty of pitches and quick pass plays in order to utilize his speed to his advantage. As you can see here, he almost stumbles and then still makes it into the end zone. Pretty impressive and, quick speed at that size. At wideout, be on the lookout for CJ Johnson and Tyler Snead. Snead is the smaller and faster of the two, who will also line up to return punts and kicks, as you can see here. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands and when he has plenty of open space. Kick coverage will certainly have to be on point in order to keep him contained. Johnson will use his frame to his advantage against smaller DBs, and he's also got the strength to make the plays needed at the point of attack. So he's going to be able to really work on our smaller corners and really utilize his size there, but he's still got plenty of speed. He's just an athletic guy He's not the fastest. Snead is certainly faster, but Johnson is definitely going to be able to take care of the ball in the air. You can just see sometimes he just makes these things look easy. And you can see a little bit of Ayers' passing motion here, which I find quite odd, the way he delivers the ball out of his arm. But, you know, it gets the job done, so it's obviously working. And these wide receivers are certainly doing the rest of the work to get into the end zone on most of these plays. But he's got the strength in the arm to get the ball down to these guys and let them work their magic. There's Snead here again, catching another touchdown pass. And this Johnson, wide open field. Again, making it look easy when you're getting open space. As long as we can prevent that defensively, we should be in for a good night. And, you know, just keep them out of the end zone as much as possible, which is the most obvious thing you could say. But, yeah, this is a great play here. I mean, 3, 4, 5th guy finally brings him down. Just a really shifty player who's excellent with the ball in his hands and any kind of space you give him. Defensively, keep an eye on these 5 players. Expected first-team AAC hopefuls, Xavier Smith and Jaquan McMillan. These 2 are their top defensive players returning from last season. Unlike the O-line for the Pirates, I do expect the defense to improve quite a bit from last year's numbers. Rick DeAbreu anchors the line, and Jair Wilson helps shore up the linebacker position. Their linebackers seem to be pretty good, and you can see here Jaquan McMillan comes away with 2 takeaways, and they're almost back-to-back here. So this was obviously his biggest game last year.
So what are my final thoughts? Well, I don't want to point you away from Big C's prediction, so I'm not going to throw out a score. I would say both teams are likely to start a little bit slower in the first quarter. This is the first game of the season. Last season was weird and strange and different for many reasons. But I expect that first quarter to be a little bit slower and then everybody to kind of pick up speed here. I really expect the app rushing attack to have a big night. I think that will help open up the passing game tremendously, give Chase Bryce a little bit of confidence, hopefully going forward, allow him to establish his game, get in his rhythm, and allow us as fans to really know what he's made of, what he's coming in with. We've heard, you know, some good, some bad. You know, he's transferred 3 times, or this is his 3rd team. So, you know, what's the issue there? But I think that overall he's going to be really successful with us. He's surrounded by so many weapons, and he was obviously a big recruit because he's a talented player. So I think we're going to see a lot at that. On the defensive side, I really think that App is going to be able to weather the seas, if you see what I try to do there. But I really do think that this App defense, as we've heard Hennigan say, with what he's told Alex and Big C on the podcast, it may be the best defensive team he's ever gone against in App. I don't know whether I totally agree with that until we see it. And I think many of us are on the fence about that at this point, but I know that a lot of us are hopeful, and we're very excited to see this team and this defense and what they do Thursday night. And hopefully they just bring it all home. I think that App finds the end zone a little bit more often, and I'll even say a lot more often. I think by the end of this one, you'll see the stand start cleaning out of Pirates fans. I'm very hopeful that will happen. I just think that App is a better overall team. ECU is, I do believe they are turning their program around, but I don't think they're quite there yet. They're not at App's level at this point in time. The best of luck to them after they play us, but I'm really hoping we take it home on Thursday. Let's go Nears. Just kidding. I'll say let's go App. See you Thursday.
Watch. First name with the plug ain't no